Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another Market Open stream. Today, we have one legendary investor sounding an alarm, and it's a wake-up call for many, especially for Bitcoin. So let's talk about it, let's talk about everything else that's going on today with crypto and everything else. All right. Let's do it, guys. Welcome. We are starting out the day roughly the same as yesterday, which is in a bad spot, to be quite honest. We're above 110 once again, 111, and got some green today. That's always good. And of course, we are in September, and so far, September hasn't been bad. And that is also fantastic. Let's see, the U.S. market starting out pretty green for NASDAQ. Again, big surprise. September historically has been a very bad month for both crypto and stocks, but NASDAQ is in the green. Mostly led, I think, by Google, because you could see right there, they don't have to break up, even though they were found guilty. I think they do have to sell off Chrome, though. That's the thing. That's the one thing that they have to do. But I guess everything else they could keep. But outside of that, let's see. NVIDIA is still slightly green. MicroStrategy, Coinbase slightly red. I mean, NVIDIA is slightly red. I mean, Robinhood. Well, no, you see, now it's starting to turn green. It's starting to be good. All right. Moving on. What else is there? Ray Dalio. This is the legendary investor I was talking about, okay? He is saying the U.S. debt is soaring and it's fueling demand for crypto and gold as alternatives. He's been calling this for years, but he never called for crypto, especially crypto. Up until like last year, he was still very on the fence about it, but he's been talking about the U.S. debt situation and the debt ceiling for quite a long time, right? And he's a legendary investor, has a lot of respect from a lot of major players in the game. And you know what? He's right. He's completely right. Even though a lot of people don't care, a lot of people think, well, who cares? The U.S. could be in deficit forever, and we could overspend and overprint, and, you know, it'll be life as usual, okay? That's just not the case. Everything's built on a house of cards. Eventually, house of cards always collapse. There's just too much weight, and it does collapse, and that is how the U.S. is. It's how we're operating. It's how almost every country operates, which is why fiat has always collapsed. It doesn't matter which one, from which nation, which powerhouse, it eventually always collapses due to the same reasons. And we're falling for that trap once again. But the good thing is, some of us are smart enough to realize, well, if the dollar is just debt and the debt keeps on increasing, maybe we should put our dollars into something else, like maybe gold, or silver, or maybe like Bitcoin and ETH, okay? And I know most of you guys watching have done so because you realize this is the way to protect your buying power and to obtain financial freedom and possibly life-changing wealth, right? But he's exactly right. He's exactly right. And many politicians, many presidents have said they're going to solve this problem. Has not been solved. Even with the new big beautiful bill, it raises the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. So how is that solving anything? In fact, our deficit grows even faster now than ever before. So that may be the reason why inflows still massive into Bitcoin. Yesterday, big surprise. We had $333 million inflow. Again, you would figure yesterday would be a bad day. We started out horribly, deep in the red. We're starting September. We had a sell-off last Friday and all of last week pretty much. But people came back, right? Bitcoin is the de facto asset to hold. And even Wall Street realizes that now. So yesterday, a very good comeback, a very good inflow day, but not for Ethereum. BlackRock had 2 days of zero inflows, but no outflows either. But overall, yesterday wasn't a good day for Ether, 135 million outflow, right? So I don't know, it's too early to call, but it does seem like over the last 3 days, the strength is back into Bitcoin, at least with the ETFs, but let's see if it will flip back or not. Because obviously all the inflows into ETH has led altcoin season so far, but will it continue? I guess we just have to see how the rest of the week goes. All right, now, besides ETF inflows, derivative traders, leverage traders, sees a bullish September month. Again, going against the grain, and that's, you know, that's not just like based on nothing. It's based on, you know, educational guesses, right? Like, for example, here's a fractal pattern comparing where we are now versus 2017. We've seen similar drops, similar moves, not exactly the same, but history tends to rhyme. And if we're rhyming, what's coming next is pretty fantastic. We don't have that many months left until the end of the year. In fact, only 3 months left. So if we're going to be making moves, they're going to come really quick. It's not like last year where I said, well, you know, we still have a year left. We have to wait until the end of 2025. We are at the end of 2025. So we don't have a lot of time left if December is the top, right? So let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. Mr. O'Leary, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, is now involved as well. 90% of his crypto portfolio is Bitcoin and ETH. The true gold standards of crypto, right? I think he is very late to fully embrace. I saw a video of him, you guys could look it up. In 2013, he was doing some kind of show where he was advocating for Bitcoin. Then in 2017, he went on CNBC and argued against Anthony Pompliano, saying that he doesn't believe in Bitcoin, even though he talked about it 4 years ago. In 2021, he still wasn't a believer. And now, finally, again, did a 180 and says he is a believer. I mean, at this point, there is really nobody that doesn't believe, other than maybe Peter Schiff, because I think it's an act. I really don't think he doesn't have any crypto, but you know what? He's pretty wealthy, so he's fine without it. But everyone else has now come and they have seen the light. Okay, they are fully embracing, and that's what we want. What else? The Winklevosses, the founders of Gemini and the losers of Facebook, even though they're billionaires now, and that's old news, but still, you know, I can't get over that movie, The Social Network. If you guys never watched it, you should. It shows how the Winklevosses really got screwed. But anyways, they took that settlement and they put it on Bitcoin and made themselves billionaires anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, they're launching a new company, a Bitcoin Treasury company with 1,000 Bitcoin in there. That's not too shabby. So again, a lot of new players coming in. Despite so many, there are new players coming in. Here's existing player H100 Group just purchased another 47. Now they have over 1,000 Bitcoin as well. These guys are not going to stop. Okay. CIMG Group completes 55 million Bitcoin purchase. Again, they're not going to stop. This is why Bitcoin will continue forward. The fundamentals are great and improving every single week. So no matter what happens with the price action, it may be down 10%, maybe down 15%. It's going to recover and it's going to make a new high. And speaking of new high, well, we're in a 2-week downtrend and we are breaking out, according to the traders, right? We go through these downtrends, and because of the great fundamentals, we always break out. That's the reason. It's not magic, okay? It's not like magical, like lines or candlesticks that just come out of nowhere. It's because you have people and companies that believe, and they will continue to keep loading up no matter what happens to the price. So 2-week downtrend may be over. And again, we don't have that much time until the end of the year. So we're following previous cycles and previous patterns. Then we are in that final leg, so to speak, for the last 3 months. And that will bring us to wherever we end up. And we'll see. And we can move very, very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. Just like previous cycles, 2013, 2017, even 2021, even though 2021 was a weird year because of the Fed and stuff. But still, we had a terrific recovery from 28,000 all the way to 69,000. Let's not forget, we fell 50%. 50% in 2021 towards the top, and we still recovered and made a new high. Are we going to see the same thing again? See, here's the thing. Look at the bottom, 2023, 2024, 2025, right? Look at how tame this cycle has been versus even the last cycle. Look at what happened in 2020, obviously, that huge COVID crash. Look at what happened in 2021, that huge crash mid-top, right? And if you look at 2015, 2016, 2017, not as drastic as those drops in 2020 and 2021, but those deep red dips were like 30, 40% dips. So this cycle has been the calmest, tamest, least volatile cycle ever in Bitcoin's history. So if you think like a 10%, 12% dip is massive, you haven't sat through any of the previous cycles. And this could be a good thing because even though we may not have an explosive run up the last 3 years, we could just keep on going. Who's to say 2026, 2027, 2028, leading into the next cycle top 2029, it won't be similar to 2023, 2024, 2025, where we just continue slowly going upwards. Could be. All right, now, as for ETH, Tom Lee is going a little crazy again with his predictions because he's so bullish on Ethereum. He believes Ethereum could top out at 62,000. So not 10,000, not 15,000, could top out at $62,000, which is insane. That's more than 10x from here. And the reason being because he's looking at how ETH moved from 2018 to 2020, and it went up 54x. And he believes the current setups looks like that. So that's why we can do a 62,000. But to be fair, he's not saying by the end of December. He's saying years ahead. So he's talking about how maybe by the end of 2029, I don't know if he meant that far, but maybe in the next 2 years, we get $62,000, which would make it one of the greatest plays right now. As big as it is, it's going to be much bigger. It's crazy. Crazy. But you know what? He may be right because you have a lot of accumulation. We'll see if the ETF inflows start back up again. Ethereum Foundation is going to sell 43 million in ETH via exchanges to fund research grants and donations. So obviously the ETH Foundation is still moving forward. And I mentioned there are a lot of firms also loading up. Alibaba buys $44 million in Ethereum just because they can, you know. So Timely may be right. He may be right. We just have to wait and see. Outside Ethereum, of course, Solana is starting to catch fire, which is good, above 210. Mostly due to this new upgrade that I mentioned in my last night's video. Basically, this upgrade was approved. It's going to go in effect probably Q1 of 2026, but it's going to make Solana a whole lot faster. Transactions will be basically finalized like 5 times quicker than now. And Solana is not a slow chain. It's just that there are competition that are faster now because they're newer. You know, if I had to rate things, you know, like ETH would be like a Gen 1 chain. Sol and others, like maybe like Cardano, BNB, AVAX, they're like Gen 2 coins. Their technology is a little bit newer. They're faster. They're cheaper. The L2s are like Gen 2. But now we got like Gen 3 coins. They're just way faster. But the thing is, way faster doesn't mean a whole lot when there's no transactions on them. It's like building a 100-lane highway with like 10 cars on it. It doesn't mean a whole lot. Solana is more like a 10-lane highway that's always jammed with traffic right now. And Ethereum is like a 1-lane highway that's jammed 24 hours a day. That's how it is. So, you know, they're trying to improve, right? They're trying to make it faster and better, and that's awesome. And that's part of the reason why they're gaining strength. And the other part is just people are coming back. People are getting excited. Memes are starting to get hot again, and transactions are flowing. So it's good. And then last I saw this Avalanche, the Toyota blockchain. They're designing something together, autonomous robo-taxi infrastructure. Everyone trying to compete with Tesla on this front. And they're going to, of course, use the blockchain to help with this. And I saw World Living Financial. A lot of you guys are interested. They're going to burn, or maybe they did burn a lot already, because after launch, it's been not doing so well. I told you guys, you got to wait for it to settle down. Okay, too much hype. A lot of insiders sold at launch, right? So we'll see if this does anything. Because I don't hear a lot of people talking about Trump coin anymore. So I don't know how well this is going to do going forward. Maybe, you know, in a bull market during altcoin season, right? Both could still climb up to the moon. I guess we'll see. All right. U.S. market is still hanging in there. A lot of the crypto stuff turning green, which is good. Bitcoin wants to come back to 112. Sol is coming to 113. ETH is at 4,400. Good all around. Bitcoin dominance has not climbed. Has not climbed at all. Look at that. Right? So despite our little downtrend, Bitcoin dominance is still low. Altcoins are still hot. And that's a good thing. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Will you buy Circle in the next bear market? Probably not. Although USDC is a dominant powerhouse in the stablecoin game. I don't know. Circle stock, too volatile. I actually lost money in Circle stock, so I don't know. I'll get back to them. What do you think about Ondo? They're live now. What about them? Ondo's fine. RWA, major RWA play. RWA kind of like cooled off a little bit. There was too much hype about it, but it's going to be a big part of the future. So I think Ondo will be fine. Any new info on when Bitcoin purchases will be approved in IRAs? I think they're still voting on it. After the executive order, I think the other agencies have to approve it or something. I don't know the details. Lucky Sky, what was it like when you made a first large amount from crypto? Was it sudden or it take years? It was sudden. It was 2021. All the crypto, all the accumulation, everything I had that I put from 2017 leading up to 2021, even during 2021, right? That's when my channel took off. I made more money, was able to put more in crypto, but it was sudden. Like in 2021 when things blew up, I knew it was coming, but 2021 was tough, man. We lived through that 50% drop from 64,000 down to 28,000. I bought more because I refuse to believe that the top was in. And that's how I made most of my money. Everything just skyrocketed. And then my life changed after that. Sometimes all it takes is just one cycle. Reza says, if you had to pick one exchange to use and hold a small bag spot, which would be, heard Coinbase freezes accounts randomly. Coinbase does do that. If you're talking about just US exchanges, I would say maybe like Gemini. I haven't had too many problems with Gemini. They're more difficult to use though, just not as easy, and they make you do the security key now. You can't use 2FA. You have to use a security key, which is problematic. Like I got on my mobile app, but I can't get on my desktop. So I always have to use my mobile app. So it's a pain in the ass. And there's no one to call. There's no 800 number. That's what I also hate about these US exchanges. But you know, I hold bags on a lot of exchanges. I use BitUnix like every single day now. I have a bag on there, quite large. Even my other partner, BTCC, I have some on MEXC. I have them spread out. Robbie Kaiser, I appreciate that. I do. Do I just buy and hold or actively trade? I have like 99%, maybe 98%. I buy and hold, and then 2% I trade. That's how I do it. World Liberty, thoughts on current price, or do you view it as a meme? It's more or less like a meme. Even though it's not a meme, more or less it's a meme. Okay? You have to wait until it cools off, just like Trump coin. It started out really, really hot, and then it got cooler and cooler and cooler. It found a base. You have to do the same thing with World Liberty Financial because people are going to go crazy on it. A lot of insiders sold, and now it's cooling off. You got to wait until like it finds that bottom. Otherwise, it could keep going. The Hummer EV went from $300,000 to $100,000. Do you think a good car for a current price? I've driven it. It's a gigantic, enormous car. It's fine. It's just, is it worth the price? I don't know. You know, I'm really, if you want an EV truck, I'm really impressed with the new Silverado EV. Mostly because you could fold it's like the older Avalanches. You could fold that bed wall down and make the bed super, super long. So the rear seats could fold down and the whole wall folds down. And it was quite impressive. And it doesn't look bad either. I think it's called the Silverado EV, or there may be another name, but and it's under 100,000. It's like 50 to 80, I think, or 70. If you're looking for an EV truck, I think that's a pretty good one. Not a whole lot of people have it. Drones NBF. You know, I've been looking and looking and looking for what car to buy to work on and make content with. I want something cheap and well known, respected, and easy to modify, and I could resell later. It's tough. It's tough to find all those attributes in one car. Tom Reyes, I appreciate that. I'm glad I made a positive contribution. Are you spending 10K on flights? No, but I am, for the most part, first class or business class everywhere, but not 10K. These Mr. I don't know if you guys ever drink these Mr. Brown coffees. They're terrific. They taste terrific. Yeah, I don't know what car I won't get. Maybe I don't. It's gonna get cold soon, so I don't know. Now that I got my car lift. Car lifts are so damn easy. They're so simple in nature. You know what's so stupid? So my car lift, the motor could be powered by the one just like a household outlet, but they don't give you an outlet. So the unit just comes with like 3 bare wires just hanging out there. So the installers, you know, I didn't know this. After they installed it, they're like, oh, it's all done, and they leave. And then I realized there's no power cable there. I'm like, what the hell? And they're like, oh no, you're supposed to get an electrician to do it. I'm like, but this just goes into a household outlet. So why would they not give you a wire? So I got really mad about that. And I called the company. They're like, yeah, we don't give you a wire. You're supposed to get an electrician. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? You guys advertise it so I can just plug it into the wall. So I ended up going to Harbor Freight and buying a 12 gauge 25 foot and then cutting off the female end, stripping out the 3 wires, and then just hooking it up and doing it that way. Like, that should not be how it is. I don't know why they don't just give you a cable that you a plug that you could just use. Chris and Maggie, I don't know why you're so broke. I don't know if you're just trolling or not. Hopefully you're not. I don't think you're that broke. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sending me a $10 super chat. Yeah, the motor, it could be 110 or 220, but I ordered a 110 version, which I think it is the 110 version. But, you know, they should just give you a plug for both. You know, it's not that hard to make it so that it's an adapter that you can unplug and plug and just have two different kind of heads, depending if you have a 220 outlet or a 110 outlet, or if you want a hardwire, you just unplug it. You know, considering the lift is like close to 10K, it's not that unreasonable. It's a hydraulic lift, but it's electric motor. Get a RX-7. No, I don't like RX-7s. And I don't have time to do a LS swap. Um, you know, BMWs like the 135i or 335i, they're decently cheap. And I think they could be really good cars to work on. Small little fun cars that's really powerful. I remember when a 335i came out, everyone made a big deal because it's very underrated, and more power than what BMW advertised. Um, I don't know, like the Civic hatchbacks, everyone wants a crazy amount for them. Every Civic hatchback from the 90s, like 15, 20 grand. Like, I'm not paying no 20 grand for a 1997 Civic hatchback HX or DX or whatever. It's crazy what people want for Civic hatchbacks. Um, Old Mustangs. I could work on old Mustangs all day long, like the 5 liters, because I had one and I did everything to it. I just don't know if people really care about them anymore. Chris, appreciate that. Appreciate it. Everyone wants an older Fox body Mustang. I don't know about that. When I was growing up, everyone wanted a Fox body. There was they were ugly as dirt though. I always hated the look of Fox bodies. I like the SNs better. Um, but I don't know of anyone that really wants a Fox body now. I may be wrong about that, but like when I was growing up, everyone wanted a Fox body or a Camaro, you know, one or another. But these days, I don't know. Yeah, things are turning green now. That's good. Everything's turning green. 5K miles in your CA06. Congrats. That's a nice car. A really nice car. I was driving the Ferrari around yesterday. There's just really no place to drive it, but every time I drive it, it feels special because I don't drive it very often. So that's the good thing. But I can never put a lot of miles on it. I don't want to either. I just watched Weapons, best horror film ever. I just finished Aliens Romulus last night with the family. I gotta say that wasn't bad movie. That came out last year, I think. So if you guys are interested, it's not a bad movie. I saw it on Hulu. No, it's a 14 amp Clifton. It's a 14 amp motor, but I used a 12 gauge wire just in case. People have told me about The Wire, but I've just never had time to get into it. People said that The Wire is like the best show ever. I did not watch season 2 of Peacemaker yet. Uh, yeah, I should. I don't know why I haven't yet. I've been watching Dexter Resurrected. Man, they will just not let the show go. Franken Studio asks, if you already have half Bitcoin, another 10K on the sidelines, do you buy more Bitcoin now, keep on the side just in case? It's a very hard question because a lot of people think, well, September's going to be bad, then you should wait. But others say, well, no, it doesn't mean it has to be bad. I'm on that latter side. I don't think September has to be bad. And so far, so good. And if we get a rate cut in 2 weeks, it's going to be even better. So, you know, you don't have to go all in right now with that 10K. You could just do maybe like a 1K buy every week. So after September, you still have 6K left, and then you could keep doing 1K buys. Or if October gets really hot, then you could go in 2K buys, something like that. I really like Snowfall. I really liked it. But I think the key thing with these kind of shows is you have to learn from it. Like you kind of have to study it because, you know, they could become life lessons or motivational thought pieces, right? Like if you it's been a while since it's been like a month since I finished Snowfall. You got to think about Snowfall, like what made Franklin successful and then what brought his downfall. Right? And if you think about it, obviously he was smart to begin with, but he was a risk taker, a huge risk taker. He got almost caught many times. He was doing stuff himself, right? But then he relied on his friends and family, which is fine. But what brought his downfall? I don't know. You can make many arguments what brought his downfall. It wasn't the fact that he got too greedy. I think well, he did become a little. I think what really brought his downfall was giving too much leeway to his friends and family. I think that was really it. It wasn't because he wanted more power or money. It's because the people that helped him get to power, to the top, they wanted their own piece. And then because he was friendly with them, he kept giving in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And eventually, they all turned away, and that's what's brought his downfall. And then obviously power got to him and stuff at the end. But really, if it wasn't for his family and friends pulling away, things would have been fine. So I think that was one of the main things. It's like, if you're going to build a business, do it yourself. Don't give too much of it away because it gets complicated, especially when working with friends and family. He believed in too many women. Again, friends and family, they all turned on him. Money changes people sometimes. Watching Sopranos made me drop kick my boss for telling me what to do. Jimbin, I don't know if you're serious or not. I've never watched Sopranos. I never got into it, so I never watched it. Maybe I should. I've heard that it's one of the greatest shows ever. Off topic. I like off topic questions. Any quantum computing stocks anyone looking at? I'm not. For stocks, I think you got to keep it simple. Okay. Go with the winners. You really do. You just go with the winners. Like, people try to outsmart the market and go in this and that. But if you look at what has performed the best over the last 10 years, just the big tech companies, basically. Every big tech company has been going up and up and up and up, and while everyone else has been like just kind of hanging in there. So yeah, so just go with the basics. And now you could throw in some crypto projects too, but I think you just look at the leaders. That's really it. Wall Street loves consistency. They love winners. They love predictability as well. So that's what all these big guys provide. I like water. Yeah, that was family. She was family. But without her, Franklin could not have gotten where he was either. So I think the moral of the story is, yes, you need your fans and family and friends to help you get you where you want to be, but maintain control and don't let family and friends affect how you want to run business, especially if they want to become competitors. Don't allow that to happen. You got to just like put your foot down. That was something that Franklin couldn't do. Powerball. Today's the big Powerball. $1.4 billion. 12 hours. If you take it in cash, less than half, 634 million. You know, if it's something this big, maybe it's just smarter to take it over 30 years. 1.4 billion divided by 30 years. You're still getting 46 million a year. I don't know. They should really change the laws around lottery. Everyone takes cash value because the 30 years, if you take it in 30 years and you die, you can't pass it on. It just goes away. They need to change laws in it. That's just stupid. So they purposely form all these laws to make you take the cash offer, which is less than the amount. Of course, there's the argument like, well, you take the cash value, you invest it, you're going to get a lot more than 1.4 billion. But most people that become lottery winners, they don't know how to invest. They're in horrible financial shape. And then what do? They end up spending it all and becoming broke within the next 5 to 10 years. So, you know, they should really just change the laws, okay? If you take the 30-year or 20-year, whatever it is, you could pass it on. You can give it to your kids or whoever. It should just go. Like, debt never goes away. If you have debt, it never goes away, right? But why is it when you have winnings, it goes away? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you have debt, people come after your family for it, even if you pass away. And then not only that, you get 634 million, you got to pay close to 50% in taxes depending on which state you live in. So now you're down to like 300 something million. I'm not going to complain about 300 something million, but it's advertised as 1.4 billion and you're ending up with 300 million. So that's very, very off. Someone said, can you rate my portfolio? Let's see. Let's go and rate my portfolio here in Discord. The latest one is this. 18% in Cardano, 13% Sui, Solana, Chainlink, Ondo. I'm assuming there's 50% in Bitcoin because that doesn't add up to 100%. It's fine. If you're a Cardano guy, you really believe in Cardano, there's nothing wrong with that. Everything else looks decent. Nothing wrong with that. Here's one. Pretty heavy in XRP and Sol. Sueda. Yeah, I mean, this is fine, except Bitcoin I think is too small. 7% in Bitcoin is kind of small. You would have lost out on a lot this last year by not having more Bitcoin. Boyd says, should I add anything? Oh yeah, you should definitely add Sol in there. You should definitely have ETH in there. And I, probably a few percentage in some meme coins too. I do think meme coins are important to add. Not a whole lot, but important to add because when we're in true altcoin season, or the late stages altcoin season, I should say, they will skyrocket. Look at this bad boy. I posted this. RSXs are just so damn sexy. That is the sexiest wagon there is. Yeah, that's probably my next car, RS6. But there's really no reason for me to get it. Zad Dog, you're right, but like you could get by it with VPN or with Apollo ID. But there are many other exchanges that you don't have to worry about any of it. Like Unix is one, BTCC is another one, and they've been around forever. And there's others too. Alberto says, do you think the Ruin memes have a lot of weight since they're on Bitcoin? I think runes. Or meme coin's a meme coin, doesn't matter. I think that's exactly what it is. Meme coin is a meme coin. Doesn't matter what chain it's on, even Bitcoin or not. I think it's all the same. Meme coins operate just based on hype and community. That's it. If you have a large community and you can build hype around it, it will go up to the moon. With no utility whatsoever, it'll go to the billions, tens of billions, and possibly hundreds of billions. You just need a great community and a shitload of hype. Danny says, your next car should be a Ford Transit camper van. I've been looking at those camper vans, probably the Mercedes ones, not the Ford ones. But they're really nice. But I don't really go camping, so I don't know. All right, guys. That's it. Overall, today is pretty good. Not bad. Not the greatest day, but not the worst day either. Things are green. That's what we're hoping for. So let's see if the run continues. Ray Dalio certain things so. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel, have a good one, and wait for my video tonight. All right, have a good one. Take